Hey, what do you want to drink?
Okay, Tony. Let me show you the basics of running my operation. If you don't know, as far as we're concerned, Miami is broken up into 18 turfs. This map shows which turfs are controlled by each of the cartels. You'll know which ones are ours because they're filled in with red. From the map, you can use the analog stick or directional buttons to move around and look at how many buildings and crew are on each turf. We'll cover that more later. Each round begins with a buying phase. There are lots of ways to spend our money, but cash is limited, so you gotta be smart. Don't fuck it up or I'll take this power away from you, Tony. The first thing you're gonna need to buy are drug labs and storehouses, so we can produce and sell the drugs. Drug labs produce 5 units of drugs per round, which can be sold by our pushers. Storehouses are used for storing extra units of drugs in case we can't sell everything. Each storehouse can hold up to 10 units of drugs. Any units we can't sell have to be dumped before the feds come snooping around. There are limits to how much you can place on each turf. Each turf can hold up to 5 buildings and up to 10 thugs. The HUD in the bottom center of the screen indicates how many buildings, thugs, and pushers are currently on each turf. The next thing you're gonna need is a crew with some balls to work the street and cover our turfs. Pushers are the guys who sell our drugs to the junkies on the street. Each pusher can sell 3 units of drugs per round. They're a bunch of fucking low-life scumbags, but we need them to make the cash, right? Thugs are the guys who engage in combat when we need them to. They defend our turfs when someone attacks us, and you can use them to try to take over another cartel's turf. They may be peasants, but they'll break their fucking backs for you. Let's talk about buying power moves. These are strategic moves that can give us advantages over the other cartels in different areas of business. And you know those fucking nudniks? The Diaz brothers are gonna be investing in combat, and they've got the cops in their back pocket, so we gotta keep up. To keep the cops happy, we gotta keep greasing their palms, As long as they're being funded and they can afford their fried bread, they'll give us breaks in the form of low power moves. Combat power moves give our thugs tactical advantages before and during combat. You want to turn our enemies into strains on the street? Buy some combat power moves. Drug-dealing power moves will give us opportunities to fuck over the other cartels, or change the demand for the drugs. There may be times when it is to our advantage to form an alliance with another cartel. Both sides will agree to a ceasefire for a number of rounds. Make a deal with them, but don't trust any of those greedy bastards. We can always break the alliance if we want to. This brings us to the dealing phase. This sometimes begins with a drug auction which all cartels can bid on. If you win, you can buy as much as they have, or buy just some. Whenever there's drugs left over, the remainder gets sold to the next highest bidder, and so on until all is gone. Now, when the buying phase is over, you'll get a report on drug production. This will let you know how much we have to sell. Here's where we make the money, Tony. You gotta look around to the turfs we own and find out where our pushers can make the most money. But you gotta be careful, Tony. Don't expect the demand to stay high by flooding it with drugs. If you spread the drugs around and sell small amounts, you'll find people coming back and offering more money next time. The display in the lower right part of the screen indicates the current demand of each drug, which is how much the fucking junkies are willing to pay for it. Another thing you got to worry about when selling the drugs is getting busted. The more drug units you sell on one turf, the more likely you are to attract the attention of the pigs. You'll know when they're around because it smells like fucking bacon! Seriously though, if our guys get busted, we lose the money and the drugs from the sale and they get thrown in jail. And that will really piss me off. But you can always bail them out during the buying phase if we need to. Once you've set an amount of drugs to sell on a turf, our pushers will automatically move around to sell the drugs. Storehouses can hold extra units, so if we have room, don't worry about selling everything. But keep in mind that if another cartel takes over one of our storehouses and it's full with drugs, they'll get them. Now comes the combat phase, where we get to kick some ass. This is where you decide if you want to attack another cartel's turf, or just defend and move some of our thugs around to protect what we already have. When you choose to defend, you give up your chance to attack for the round. But at least you can move thugs from one turf to another to build up our defenses in certain locations. To move thugs around, first select the turf you want to move the thugs from. Then select the turf you want to move the thugs to. You can move around as many thugs as you want, as long as we own the pot of turfs between them. When you attack, First, you have to choose a turf full of thugs to attack from. Choose Miami Lakes in this case. And then choose a turf you want to take over. Attack Carroll City this round. I got a beef with that piece of shit Nacho Contreras, going back a long time. Alright, leaving one thug behind, you have to decide how many thugs to attack with. Attack with 4 thugs for this battle. When we are involved in combat, you'll have an opportunity to play a combat power move before the battle begins.
Someone kill this prick!
That's the way to kick ass, Tony. Now, from here on, I'm gonna be giving you some goals. There are primary goals and secondary goals. The primary goal is the most important, but I give you some rewards, including cash if you accomplish the secondary goals. Access the goal list from the pause menu anytime you need to be reminded of what your goals are. So that's how this business works, my friend. Me and you together, we're gonna own this town.